night so far. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Brandon Davis, and I get the honor of being a Lifepoint intern at our Culpeper location. Shout out to my Culpeper tribe. Let me hear you. All right. CPEP tough. Oh, come on now. All right, so here's how tonight's going to go. In just a couple moments, I'm going to invite out our student pastors and their spouses, and we're going to sit down and have a conversation. We're going to be answering the questions that you've submitted about life and relationships. Literally, over the past few weeks, we have got so many questions come through, and we picked what we think is probably the best of the best to answer tonight. And here's the reality of it all. We all have relationships. You might be thinking, no, I don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but here's what I do know. You probably have a classmate. You probably have somebody in your life, a brother, a sister, a parent, and not all those relationships are perfect. Some of those might be struggling. Some of those might be really hard to navigate through. I think we've all been there, but here's what I know. If you just engage into tonight, if you lean in, if you listen to what our student pastors and their spouses are saying, and take what they say, apply it to your life, I truly believe, guys, that you'll see something different in those relationships. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? Come on. So what I need you to do is get on your feet and help me welcome our student pastors, Pastors Ethan Shockley and his wife, Erin, and Pastor TJ Williams and his wife, Courtney. Come on, guys. Let's make them feel welcome. Come on. Come on, come on. All right, all right. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Feeling good?
What's up?
Woo. Y'all look good. Y'all look good.
I would agree.
Hey, we raised the attractiveness of our stage.
Hey, praise God.
Come on, thank you, God.
Thank you, Lord. Y'all been looking at me and Pastor Ethan's ugly faces for the last few months.
Here's the thing. If you came tonight and you're like, God's not real, look at her. Look at me. God's real. Thank you.
He definitely is real. So, guys, over the past few weeks, you know we've been getting so many questions. Yeah. And one, I think the most that we got, or one of the very important ones, was they want to know about you guys. How did you guys meet your spouse? How did that go? When did you start dating? All that.
Yeah, our story's way too long and completely unconventional, but I can tell you this. I met her, and I saw her, and I was like, oh, I choose you. Her response was to run and hide. And so for years, I chased, not like call the cops kind of chase. Those are different. But here's what you need to know. She's 4 years older than me. Yeah. Yes.
Hey, okay.
Hey.
Come on.
Appreciate
my
that.
Man. My man.
Yeah. So that also is why she ran away, because I had a lot of growing up to do. But long story short, this is why I actually have advice for you if you're in this situation. I got in an accident, and I was in a coma for a few days, and almost died. Crazy, I know, and I look this good.
God did
and
miracle.
I woke up, and she was so like, oh my gosh, she almost died. Got her.
Got her.
So if you're struggling, if you're trying to figure this out,
Get in the coma.
Not
you have
recommended.
anything to add?
We met at Highlands College. So
Bible
shout out to
college,
Lifepoint
Lifepoint College.
College.
Lifepoint
Bible
College.
College.
Yeah.
Meet your spouse.
Come on.
That's right.
That's it. There we go.
Great story, guys. Well, I was not in a coma.
And you look that good.
But what is super messed up, y'all, I'm about to put her on blast. She'll put me on blast later, so it's cool. I was digging her. I was feeling her. She just moved to Oklahoma, and I was like, yeah, girl. Yeah. And then she dated my best friend.
No. No.
Yeah.
Come on now.
What do you have to say for
You
yourself?
can't do that.
Come on. That's all you need to know about my part of the story.
He did not tell me he liked me, but his best friend did.
Oh.
So sorry. Listen, it all came around.
But guess who won? Let's go.
Come on, let's go.
Have a seat.
All right, cool.
That's a great story. Hey, you did win. You did.
right.
You got her.
I
You're
did
good.
win.
All right, so let's kick off with a question that so many people had, and I think it applies to everybody in this room, and that is friendships. How do we know how to find good friends? Also, how do we handle peer pressure?
Ooh,
That's a good one.
good one. I'll jump in.
Thank you.
How do we find good friends? I think the best answer for that would be you find good friends or you find good people in good places.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would y'all agree with me?
Talk about that.
Like,
good.
we can, I'll speak for me. I won't speak for you. I was so worried about being popular, being in the crowd. So I was doing anything and everything that was not really my character.
Yeah.
It didn't match up to my beliefs. It didn't match up to my morals.
Yeah.
But I so desperately wanted that attention.
Yeah.
And so I was finding the wrong people. But it wasn't until I finally made a conscious decision to say, you know what? I may be the outlier. I may be the weird one. I may be that Christ follower. But I know that was so much more important than pleasing anybody else, because I don't please man, but I please God.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you find good people in good places.
It sounds to me like you're also saying you attract what you are.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So whatever you're looking for, even in a friendship,
Yeah.
you be that boldly, and it will come to you too.
Definitely.
No, that's great.
good.
Yeah, as you were talking, I thought over the course of my life, like especially middle school, high school, I struggled finding like what I would call good friends. But you said something, I went, here's the problem. And some of you might be there too. I thought I was looking for friends, but I was just looking for attention.
Yeah.
Come on, talk about that.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Like if you're just trying to get some eyes,
Yeah.
you aren't going to ever find a friend. Because friendship, drop the like friend, like relationships. One, they require work. Two, like they're mutual. There's bigger words, but anything over 7 letters is hard for me to like figure out what it means.
You can do it.
Like they symbiotic is the right word. Some of y'all are in science and you're like, wow, I'm smart. You help them, they help you. In my life, I found more often than not, I was looking for attention, not friends. And I was upset because I wanted a friend. I don't know, I thought about that.
No, it's great.
It's
And like we have an answer for that. We're not trying to be all pastoral or preachy, but one of the ways that we have provided a good place for you to find good friends and like-minded people
Let's go.
is Tribe. How
Where
many
my
of y'all
tribes
Tribe
at?
out there?
Tribe!
Oh,
Let's go.
come on.
Yeah.
Let's go, Tribe.
Come on.
Tribe, come on.
Some of y'all are like, why are they cheering? Why are they going crazy about Tribe? Because this is fun. Like this movement night is, can I be honest, it's easy for us.
That's right.
But where the real work happens is in Tribe.
Yeah,
Where the real relationships are built is in Tribe.
That's right.
And so I want to encourage you, no matter what campus you're at, no matter where you are,
Come on.
get plugged in, get connected, find a leader tonight and say, hey, I want to know more about this Tribe, and we'll get you plugged in tonight.
Yeah.
And I want to say that, like, Tribe, maybe you're like, what's Tribe? Or you're like, I tried Tribe, whatever. Here's the thing. We might call it something different next year. We might change the name. But the goal doesn't change. It's to find you the right people. That's right. Like, I don't have a tribe because I'm not a Lifepoint student. I have a small group. We want you to have a small group. What is that? It's friends. Like, I had my small group over last night. We had the best night ever. Like, we had fun. We made fun of each other in the nice way. Come on, there's two different. Like, talking behind their back is different than saying it to their face. We didn't get that question. I'm just kidding. You said this too, Courtney. You said, like, look around. And I had somebody tell me this one time, and it was one of those, like, that hurt. They said, you think the grass is greener on the other side, but what you haven't realized is you haven't stepped in it yet. Here's what they meant. They aren't the problem. You're the one who's making all the grass muddy. We'll leave that there. Next question.
That's so good. So, say you're in that situation you were in. Yeah. You were trying to please people. You're trying to be the popular one. Then that can be toxic for some people. Yeah. So how do you know when to end a toxic relationship?
Yeah, that can be really tricky. And first and foremost, when it comes to people that might be toxic in your life, I think that it's important that you know what's toxic, first of all, so you know when you need to walk away from it. And toxic relationships might feel manipulative. Yeah. There's lots of pressure involved. There's like blaming, or they're not able to own up to things for themselves.
Really good.
They might be draining. Like you feel like you're constantly giving out to this friendship, but they're not really giving anything back. And so, but the important thing is if that is the friendship you find yourself in, you always choose kindness anyhow. There's ways to like walk away from friendships. There are times and places to end friendships. And maybe what that looks like is slowly just not hanging out as often, not being maybe alone with that person, like spending that alone time, but more in a group setting. And obviously, like as you run into them, though, you're still kind. You're just not choosing to spend that quality time because they don't really have anything to pour into you. And so it is okay to walk away from friendships that are not healthy or relationships that are not healthy. And that might be easier too if you have other friends in place and other people in place around you who can kind of protect you from those kinds of things. I know we were talking about this.
Yeah, we were talking about it in
Yeah.
the back because we can't answer every question, so we really tried to like group questions together because a lot of you just asked the same question in different words, and we got a lot of questions about peer pressure. That's what you call it, right? Like, so whoever wrote toxic relationships, are you going to write poems? Like, what is going on? That's some thick language. I was like, we need them to write blogs for Lifepoint Church. Peer pressure is what I called it. And it's the people who are pressuring you, right, to do things that you know are wrong. And listen, oh my goodness, like what I went through when I was your age and what you go through is like you go through 10 times more than I could ever imagine. But here's the good news. I was told this when I was learning to be a youth pastor, and I went, oh my gosh, this would have saved me trouble when I was their age, your age. It's so many people say, hey, don't do this. Like, don't go to that party. Stop watching. Like, they tell you the things not to do, but that's not the problem. If you focus on the things to do, you don't have to worry about the things not to do. And so the more important thing is not like, how do I handle peer pressure? Let me tell you, you're going to have the answer if you have the right people around you. I learned this. Where's my SLI students at? I see Sophie.
SLI,
I'm going to get
shout
like
out
5 or
SLI.
6 SLI students on stage. Cheyenne, Hannah, Steven, can you come up here? Julio, come on up. Julio's like, he didn't know he was coming on stage. Y'all give it, hey, you guys might not know this. We have a student internship, and some of these are student interns, student leaders. They're awesome. They're in tribe. They're leaders. What's up, Julio? My man with the tattoos.
Someone clap.
I think in pictures, you guys know this because 8-letter words are harder than pictures. And so if you have the right people around you, I want you guys to surround me in a circle. Like, try to surround me in a circle. I know this is a small stage. We have a cute table. Let's say Pastor TJ is the problem. He's the peer pressure. He's the one who's trying to get me to do the thing that you don't want to do, that you know you're not supposed to do. If I have the right people around me, he can't get to me. So many of you are trying to stop the peer pressure, but you're not getting the right people around you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm tired on Sunday. I don't want to go to Tribe. Grey's Anatomy. I don't know what you guys watch. But like, Netflix is going to be there when you get home, but you need this because you guys, thank you, SLI. Give it up for SLI. Give it up for the leaders. Because if they're not there, he has easy access to me.
Yeah.
And yes, this is an illustration of a human. I'll tell you this, the same's true about the enemy. The same's true about the devil. If you're not careful, if you don't surround yourself with the right people, it's just like a lion. Like, he waits till, what are they called? Gazelle?
Gazelle.
Those things frolic, right?
Let's go with it.
Yeah,
We can go with that.
Gazelle. He waits till that mug's alone. And he's licking his lips. He's like, I'm going to get him.
Oh, hey, come here. Come here.
Move on. We got to move on.
Let's move on. Sorry.
Does that make sense? Is that helpful? That's why you got to be in a tribe.
Yeah.
That's why it's so
good.
important for you to be there on Sunday. It's not because it's tribe. Like, I don't care if you don't use the word tribe. I don't care what. Like, you need people around you or you're continually going to get pulled in the wrong direction.
That's so good. Something our Pastor Daniel, says a lot is you're only as good as your top 5 friends. So get some of the top good friends around you, people that are loving and encouraging and want what's best for you. Because here's the reality. You're not going to not always find that everywhere, but I believe you can find that in tribe. So I would really
Are you
push.
okay? Do you need?
I would really push on. Do you need a tissue?
Jesus
Do
Christ.
you need some tissues? There should be some
It's
over
good.
there.
Look, he's good. I think somebody just found freedom.
Yes, amen. Amen. Come on. All right. I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
Bring it, Brandon.
Here's what we're going to do. This is something I believe just about everybody in the room wants to know about, and that is dating. So when, who? Tell me about it. What do you guys think?
What is that?
Dating.
So the question I think we heard often was, when do I date? When do I know when I'm ready to date? And I don't know that I can give you an answer. But what I can give you is what I wish I knew.
Yeah,
what I
that's
wish
good.
I knew when I was your age.
Talk
what I
about
wish
it.
someone would have told me. And I wish they would have told me this, that the most important part about you is your relationship with Jesus.
So good.
So when your relationship with Jesus is strong, that's when you can date.
Yeah.
And so I know from my story was that I grew up in church. I grew up sitting in this crowd of a thing like this, very similar. I grew up going, and I knew all about God up here, but I never had a relationship with him. I never was really strong in my relationship with him. So because of that, I looked to my boyfriend. I looked to relationships to fill a void in my heart that only God could fill. I was looking for confidence or acceptance or security or anything that I thought that someone could provide, knowing that that's the only thing that God could really fill.
Oh, girl.
And so I looked elsewhere, and because of we are people that love you, and because we're people that want what's best for you, want what's best for your dating relationship and your future marriage. Yeah. There's a bunch of marriages represented in here, and what we want what's best for you. So what I would tell you is don't date until you in and of yourself are ready for marriage. Yeah. Ready for marriage, because your relationship with God is priority.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, that's so good.
Woo! And so, like she said, there's not like a right answer to that, because everybody's season in becoming whole and finding their identity in Christ looks a little bit different. Yeah. And so it's okay if it takes you a little bit longer. It's okay if you don't date until 18 or 20. It's okay. Maybe you find that a little bit earlier. But in that season, another thing that's really important is that while you're in that season of finding yourself and waiting, really be intentional about thinking what you're looking for. You want to know what you're looking for before you just run into things. Yeah. Because if you don't have an idea of what you're looking for, the first person to walk up to you and seem a little interested is going to get your attention, and you will much easier settle. Yeah. So in your season of finding yourself and finding your identity in Christ, you make a list. Yeah. You think about people you admire. You think about relationships you have that are really healthy, characteristics of those people. You think about marriages that you admire. And you literally make a list, and then you don't settle. You stick to that. So make that before you start meeting and dating, so that when you do start, you can refer to that, and it's a strength inside of you to say, no, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, next.
Come on.
Thank you,
Come
next.
on.
I use it right?
That's so good.
I use it right?
You did.
Okay.
Gordon, you did, for sure.
I had a pastor tell me when I was single, hey, he said, you don't need your groomsmen and your bridesmaids on your wedding day. You need them way before. I think most people, it's that same illustration we just talked about, like having the right people around you, because, hey, we all make dumb decisions. Yeah. Like, not only do we do it, we're all just one step away from stupid, me included. Here's the good news, though. Because I have people around me, they're going to be like, hey, stupid, stop. Like, like that. I wish we could spend more time together so you understood that. Yeah. Like, people who are on this platform, we aren't like of a different level of life and spirituality. Good. Like, we are the exact same as you. Yeah. We're just trying to tell you what we learned, and it's that my life is better and I'm safer if I have the right tribe around me, if I have the right people who are going to protect me from anything, from dating. And so that's who I'd ask, like, do you have good girlfriends who know who you should, like, what you're looking for in a relationship, and they're able to say, excuse me, like, here's the list you texted me. Have you seen him? Yeah,
that's so good.
Like, I know, like, he checks off one, but there's 9.5 things where he's on a different universe, sister. Like, just because he liked your photo. Right. That's not on the list. That's so good. That's good. I love the list idea. Like, that changes everything.
It does change everything. It might be crazy. You might be thinking, oh, if I make a list, that will never happen. The reality is it does. It did for me. I literally pulled out my phone, took notes of what I want in my wife, and I found her, and she's on the front row.
Come on, Mode.
Shout out to my wife.
Let's go.
So the reality is it does work. And I think if you apply that, you'll know what you're looking for. Don't waste time. Don't waste any time on it.
She's got a great hat, too.
She does have a great hat. I love your hat and your hair. All right. So
the hat on your list? Or?
Yeah, my hat was on the list. Yeah, she has to wear good hats. Definitely. That was like number 1 or 2.
Wow.
No, but say they do find that person. They have the list. They got it all set up. This is perfect. Okay, how do they know when they're in love?
Define love.
Define love. What is
How do you spell that?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt.
Come on now.
No more.
Y'all should not know that sinners. All of y'all are sinners.
Come on.
I'm kidding. But seriously. All right, seriously. Seriously, what is love? Like, what is it really defined as? And I'm not going to speak for you. I'm going to speak for my personal experience. Is that you have to figure out, I'm going to just be real with you. Is it lust or is it love?
Come on. That's good, Pastor.
Like, real talk. I knew that clap would be weak. I knew it would be weak.
You can do
no,
better
no,
than
no.
that. Come on.
Good job.
I'm clapping because I don't want anyone to know I struggle with the first one.
But it's a real question because I think we get that confused. There's a really thin line between lust and love. We get caught up in the feelings. We get caught up in how she looked at me. We get caught up in how she was dressed, and you saw her that one day and you couldn't get that image out, and y'all start talking and all this stuff, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is love. But I would ask you to really dig deep and think, does that person check all the boxes on your list like we're talking about? Because if they don't, I would venture out to say that's probably lust.
That's good.
And what lust comes from is, and to really just speak it to you tonight, is lust comes from an inner desire. An inner desire to quench a thirst that really only Jesus should be quenching in the first place.
That's good.
And yeah. And so I just want to put that out there for some of you that are in relationships or that are flirting, that you text somebody on the way in and you're like, oh my gosh, I just love him. I just love him.
And pizza. It's like, I love
yeah,
pizza
it's like, I
and
love
him.
pizza.
And
We throw that word around so much, but love is so much deeper than that. You want to know why? Because love takes work.
come on.
Love is sacrifice.
It is.
Love is putting them before you. And I know when I was your age, I wasn't trying to put nobody else. It was all about me. It was all about my life. What was
Trying to get yours,
hey,
son.
Stop shaking your head so hard. I would say that. What else would you say about that?
Yeah, I think that's very important. So if you don't know what lust is, you really cannot know what love is. So true. Because you need to be able to distinguish the two. So if you need to do a little bit more talking to somebody who you spiritually admire about that, be clear on that, because you cannot be sure that it's love if you're not sure that it's not lust. Yeah. What I would say about love is biblically, in 1 Corinthians, it talks about love, not even just in the dating perspective or the marriage perspective, but just in general, the characteristics of love. It talks about love is patient, love is kind, it's not self-pursuing, it's not easily angered. And so I guess what I would say definitely about love is that you want to be sure that in a relationship that's heading towards marriage, where you think there's love, that is on both sides. So that there's patience on both sides, that it's selfless on both sides,
Yeah, that's so good.
that is not easily angered on both sides. Because you are going to essentially marry someone you love, and then in marriage, figure out how to fall in love with them and how to serve them. Yeah. And that's not something, he talked about being selfless in love, and that's really not something that's even easy to do outside of marriage. You don't have a lot of opportunity to serve and be selfless, which leads to being in love with somebody outside of marriage. Yeah. So you're looking for biblical traits of somebody to know for sure that they honestly and biblically love you, and then you figure that out as you get married in your serving and your sacrifice and those kinds of things. I did love him, but we didn't know how to really fall in love and be in love until we were married. Yeah. And it's really not as cute as it sounds. Like, it's tricky. Yeah. So don't make it anything that it's not.
No, as you were talking, I was like, oh, there's a Bible verse for that. Shocker.
Yeah.
It's 1 John 3, 16. You've probably heard it another way. This is a certain translation of the Bible. It says, by this we know what love is. That Jesus laid down his life for us. Other translations say there is no greater love than to lay down your life for another person. And you said it, and like everyone in the room. She said this. This is like, if you don't hear anything else today, you have to ask yourself two questions. Are you ready to lay down your life for someone else? Yeah. Like, completely. Yeah. Like as a married couple, I have to make the decision when I wake up in the morning that my first job is to serve her, not me.
Yeah. That's good.
And then you have to ask yourself the question, is that person ready to completely lay down their life for me? Yeah. Like, I go back to the first thing, like, we look for attention. We don't look for the right thing. Yeah. And Gosh, list. This girl.
so
preaching the house
So good.
down.
Honestly, to give you guys some handlebars on that, if every interaction with that relationship is all about you, it's probably lust. It's probably not love. But if every interaction is, I want to serve that person, I want to be there for that person, I think that's an easy way to view it. And I want to kind of transition. All right, say you find the person, you feel like you love them, you don't really know. And this is really the question everybody's been waiting for. So get ready.
Oh, no.
Are you ready?
We're about out of time.
We're about out of time. We got to answer it quickly. So, how far is too far in a relationship?
Hey. Pastor Ethan?
Anyone else want to answer this?
Anybody else?
Spicy. How far is too far?
Go ahead.
We talked about this one for a long time. Oh my goodness. Like in the 9 minutes and 17 seconds I have left, what could I say? Man. Here, you're going to be so mad at me, but I will have a longer conversation with you if you'd like to. It's the wrong question. Because here's what you're really asking. Like, let's be 100% honest. How close can I get to the edge without hurting myself?
Talk about that, man.
Like I need you, I'm a picture guy, I'm sorry, words are hard. Like, we're on the top of a cliff, and we're in a Jeep. You have two options. Do you want me to hang 3 wheels off the edge, or you want me to get as far away from the edge as possible?
That's so good.
Right. Everyone has the same answer. But in this question, you're like, how close can I get to the edge? Like, come on now. Like, here's what I know about every single one of you, because I had this too. You have high hopes for your marriage one day, for a relationship one day. But really, if you stay with this cliff analogy, Erin, and our mentor, she drew it on a board for us one time. And she said, you have to see the cliff as the safety. If I could give you anything, it's pay more attention to the safety. Like, how safe do you want to be? And I'm going to say something, and some of you might walk out. I promise I'm not a liar, but you're not going to believe me. This is what speakers call a power pause. You just let it sit.
Let it simmer.
Yeah, simmer. You ready? You see her? See how hot she is? Like, that's easy. Like, duh. If you don't, she's on the screen. We dated 2 years? 2-ish? Maybe. Something like that. I was in a coma. Forgive me.
The whole time.
There was a point.
Hold on, y'all dated while you was in a coma?
No.
They don't even know
That
each
is
other.
amazing.
Who does that?
There was a point. Let me show you some of my humanity. There was a point where, like, I would use the, like, sorry, brain injury excuse, where she was like, you're not allowed to use that anymore. Like, it's been 3 years. I disagree. This is really thick. They all want to know what this is. This is awesome. We dated for 2 years, and we did not kiss until the day we got married. Don't clap. I don't know why y'all are clapping. I don't need your claps. I know. Some of y'all are like, oh, shook.
They are shook.
I saw one lady just fall. She just, But this is why I wish we could have more one-on-one, because I'd love to get your questions like, why would you do that? And here's what I want you to understand. Sin is a snowball. Once you go, it always gets bigger. It's in the book of James. It says it starts so small, and it continually grows and grows and grows and hurts you. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Kissing someone is not a sin. But here's what I knew about myself. Every step I took closer to the edge, I wanted to take another one. Because she wasn't my first girlfriend. And I made mistakes. I got hurt. And here's the list. Before I started dating her, I made the decision that I was not going to do that until marriage, because I knew myself. And I made this decision. You may call me crazy, but I believe if you can wrestle this to the ground, your whole life will change. I took God at His word.
And I think, not to cut you off,
You're
but
good.
I think so often we, the reason we ask the question, how far is too far, because we want to get close to the edge, because we don't believe God has better for us.
Yeah.
Come on.
We believe that our feelings, our temptations, what's on the other side of tiptoeing this line is better, but it's because we don't really know God.
Yeah.
God's got so much better. God's got so much better on the other side. Yes, it's tempting. Yes, it's intriguing. Yes, everything in you says go do it. The world, the culture, everyone says go do it. Do what you want to do.
So good.
But can I tell you from someone who's messed up time and time before, prior to knowing Jesus, he's got so much better.
Come on, baby.
It's not worth it. All the things that culture says, go for it, do it. It's only one time. Not a big deal.
Like,
it's more than that. And God's got better. I hope that you leave knowing that God has better in store for you.
that's good, baby.
Guys, definitely.
And here's why a few things are so important. That's why reading this is so important. Because if you don't know who he is, you don't know that he has anything better for you.
Yeah.
It's also why a tribe's so important. Because someone in my tribe told me when I was single, I was hanging out with one of our tribe coordinators, Aaron Judkins, and we were talking about this. It's in Matthew chapter 5. It's Jesus. He said this. He said, "Blessed are the pure, for they shall see God." Yeah. And I had someone in my tribe when I was single say, "Ethan, do you want that? Do you want a relationship with your girlfriend? Do you want to go too far and get those results? Or would you rather be pure and see God?"
Yeah.
That's maybe the question I just want to ask you tonight. Like, I can't give you the how far is too far.
Yeah.
Because that question isn't even in your mind when you're asking yourself, how much of God do I want? It's the same thing about, like, it's vision. I had a conversation with somebody earlier. You know why you hate going to school? It's because you don't have a vision for school. You know what your vision for school is? Get home at the end of the day. Tell me I'm wrong. You wake up in the morning, you go, goal for the day, get home as quickly as possible. That's life. Like, how different would your day be? You got 4 classes on Monday. Hey, here's my goal on Monday. One person every class, I'm going to encourage them, and then at the end of the day, I'm going to pray for them and make sure their day was better because of me. You can't wait to go to school if you do that.
Yeah, that's so good.
You can't wait to go to school. And it's the same thing in our relationships.
Yeah.
Like, you're just, you know what you do? You go over to her house, and it's like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. Oh, my goodness, the lights just happened to turn off. It's dark outside. Oh, Netflix just, are you still watching? I don't know. Are you still watching? It's like, you don't have a vision.
Yeah.
What's your vision? Like, we ain't got time.
Yeah.
We ain't got time.
That's so good.
We ain't got time.
So
Forgive
good,
me,
Pastor.
Brandon.
No, I forgive
This
you.
is your
It's okay.
show, Brandon.
Hey,
Your shit.
I forgive you this time, but if you do it again. So we're going to switch gears one more time, and it's going to be more about, so we have the dating relationships. What about authority figures? How can everyone in this room have better relationships with their siblings, with their parents?
Yeah.
How can you navigate through that?
No, that's good. Yeah.
Yes. Parents are a really good prime example. That's probably the most influential authority in your life. And here's 2 things that I think would help transform your relationship with authority, such as your parents, teachers, coaches, those kinds of things. 1, believe that they're doing the best that they can with what they have. Everybody has a different set of circumstances, a different set of knowledge, and they're doing the best with what they have. So you believe that about them. You believe that about your parents. They are doing the best that they can. Secondly, you choose honor. Yeah. It does not matter what your parents do, who they are, what they say. What matters is you choosing honor every day. And so when I say honor, that's kind of like a word that we kind of get a little bit about it. We know it maybe means respect and that kind of thing. But honor is serving. And honor is thinking highly of and speaking highly of. So you change the way you think about your parents, and you change the way you speak about authority. You speak highly of them. You think highly of them. You look for opportunities to serve them. And I promise you, there is no way your relationships at home don't change and don't shift towards healthy. Yeah.
That's really good, and I know that is taken me to where I am today. And I'm saying that humbly. Like, honor will take you so much further than anything in your life. Yeah. Like, for real, when you honor your leaders, when you honor your authorities, when you honor your parents, your pastors, your leaders, your tribe coordinators, I really believe that God will breathe on that, and he'll value that, and he will bless you and open doors that maybe you didn't think would ever be able to be open before, but I know for some of you, you're like, well, it's hard for me to even honor because you have no idea what that authority figure said to me. You have no idea what they did to me. Like, you don't even know what they said to me before I walked out of the door, before I got here. How in the world can I honor somebody like that? And you've been at home and you've cried and you told your friends and you felt like nobody was listening to you. But I want to tell you tonight, you've not ever been alone. God was right there with you in that moment. He was with you. He was listening. But I also want to do this. And maybe nobody's ever said this or done this to you. For some of you that felt like you've never been encouraged, you've never been pushed, you've never heard somebody say, I love you. And they've said negative things about you and hurtful things, whether it be a parent, whether it be a sibling, whether it be a leader. I'm going to do this tonight. I want to apologize on their behalf. Like, I want you to hear these words. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you were made to be feel less than. I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you. I'm sorry that I left you. I'm sorry that I said those words to you. And even some of you right now, you're remembering some of those things, but I just want to let you know that God hears you. He hears your prayer. He hears your cry, and you're not alone. And I want to take a quick moment to say a short prayer over those that are hurting. Father, I pray for each and every student in this place right now. God, that they have not been able to express how they feel and what has been said and what has been done. And God, will you let them feel your love right now? God, I pray, Lord, that the pain that they feel that is so real and is so valid, God, that you will bring healing to their hearts right now. God, that you would fill the void of that father that walked out. You'll fill the void of that mother that abandoned them. God, you'll fill the void, God, of that friend that said things about them that they never thought would happen. God, I pray that right now in this moment that you would speak to us and you would heal us, you'd change us, and you'd touch us, and that you'd set us free. In Jesus' name.
Amen.